This episode is brought to you by Square Tank, because your air system deserves a better tank.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jaime Silva, and I work here at Jason's Wheel Repair, Chino, California. We're gonna show you two different types of repairs that we do. One is a bend and crack, and the second one is your average curb rash repair that we do. So we have this 16-inch OE Chevy wheel. They hit something on the road, which then caused the damage on the inside of the barrel. It's got a bend, and it also caused it to crack. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to remove the tire, and we have to repair the bend, and then clean it up, and then weld up the crack. Oh, so something like this, if you have something, you hit something on the road, this is an average repair that we do here. We get these pretty often. Some people think that because it has this damage, it's scrap, but it's 100% repairable. You can see the damage is right there. Something was hit from the outside on the tire. Yeah, so you can see this, but to the regular eye, all you're gonna see is this damage, because once you spin the wheel in motion, you can see that it has a drop in it. That drop being caused by this same steel damage over here. So that has to get repaired before we can even attempt to weld it. So I'm gonna take my chalk pen and just mark the area where it's got the low spot. I'm gonna go over to the machine and I'm gonna press it, put some heat to it. It is difficult, but if you have the right equipment, you know what I mean, and you have the right process, it can be done. Sometimes, some people just try to hammer it and just make it worse. When you hammer on cold steel or aluminum, it's just gonna crack. So we have to apply heat for it to be pliable and be able to stretch it a little bit. Yeah, so right now I'm gonna heat it with a torch and get it hot enough to where when I press it, it does flex and it doesn't just crack and make it worse than it already is. Out the majority of the bend, put a hydraulic press on it to get the rest of the shape into the wheel. We should let that sit on there and let it cool down so that it'll retain its shape, and it'll come back to it for a few minutes. Yeah, having the equipment and knowing exactly what to do, yeah, it seems a lot easier than it really is, but we've had people where they bring us the wheel and you see all the hammer marks. They just try to hammer it and they're like, oh, where it wouldn't have been cracked, now it's cracked, because they try to hit it and it's cold, so it just separates. So sometimes don't try to fix it at home if you don't have the right equipment, because you're just gonna make it harder for yourself. Yeah, so like I took the, you know what I mean, how I heated it. I mean, to me, it seems normal, but yeah, it's just burnt paint, like hot burnt oil. It's not fun, but someone has to do it. We'll go check it, see how bad it is, if it's any better. So as you can see, now we got rid of the dip where the damage was. We got rid of the bend. So now we just gotta clean it up, cut our crack out, and weld it. Get a little messy right now. This episode was brought to you by Square Tank. So what I'm doing is I'm cleaning up the paint off of the area that I'm working on so I can expose where the crack is. I gotta clean all that up, and I gotta cut the crack out to get rid of all the dirt and grime that's inside the aluminum, so that when I do weld it, I get a proper weld. I'm not getting any dirt or any grime inside of my repair. Yeah, so once I cleaned it up, I was able to expose where the crack spread. So what I did was I cut the crack out. So then this is now what I'm gonna be welding to get rid of where the old crack was inside of the bend. And then we cleaned up the inside as well. We're gonna weld up both sides. Yeah, so we're gonna leave, once it's welded on both sides, we're gonna leave the weld on this side, which is gonna be hidden by the tire. We're gonna get rid of the weld on this side and then do a little touch-up paint so it looks like nothing ever happened. The only person that's gonna know is the owner. Cool. repair. The tire machine hit on this one in a couple spots. So that's the repair for that. Just do a little primer on there to get it sealed up, and then it's ready to mount back on the tire. Same tire, yeah, as long as it's good. So before I put it back on, because of the damage it had, I always check the bead and the sidewall, make sure it's not damaged. If it is still good, then we put it back on. If not, we find something that's wrong with it, just let the customer know, hey, your tire's no good. They either bring us a tire to replace it, or they can take it to their local tire shop and get a tire put on. This episode was brought to you by Square Tank.
This episode is brought to you by Square Tank, because your air system deserves a better tank.